My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hi, this is Lori Johnson with Hancock Whitney Bank, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Visit localleadersthepodcast.com for previous episodes or for information on appearing on the show.
Lori Johnson, how are you?
I'm doing good today, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good today. Glad to see you
Glad
in
to
the
be
studio.
here.
This
Thank
is your
you.
second appearance.
Yes.
On Local Leaders of Podcast. You had so much fun the first time you came back to
I
us.
did. It was a blast, and I appreciate the invite back for sure.
Well, believe it or not, your first appearance was way back in season 1, episode 4. It was the fourth one that I did. That was 98 episodes ago.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't seem like that long, does it?
I know.
Today, I want to refresh everyone on who you are, both inside your business and in the community, discuss some rather serious subjects, and really get your thoughts on a hot topic these days that is banking fraud. So does that sound good to you?
Absolutely.
All right. So first, a little about you for those that may not know, the one or two, that might exist in the parish anymore. You've lived in LP since the first grade.
Correct.
You're surrounded by athletes throughout your whole family, right?
Correct.
So your husband, Josh, is pretty much the resident ringer for any golf team.
Pretty much.
And he loves to play, which is good. Your daughter, Callie, is pretty much the female version of Mark McGuire. That's what I call her.
That would be Bailey, the older one. Yes,
yeah.
The older one is the softball player.
Yes,
correct.
Yes. And man, has she had a year.
Yeah,
I want to talk about her for a second. She has been just knocking home runs and all those sorts of things. She's a senior.
She is a senior, and we only have literally a few weeks left ever of softball. And to think that, it just breaks my heart, but it's just been such a wonderful ride. We've had a great time, and I'm really proud of the things that she's done.
So she's played since she was a kid, just a youngster.
We've played pretty much year round since she was 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Adjustment time.
I know. I know.
Yeah, because you get into kind of a habit after that long of looking forward to softball seasons and stuff like that. Of course, your younger daughter, Callie.
Right.
Okay, so she's coming along and doing her thing. How old is she?
She will be 12 in June,
Awesome.
and we are just entering AAU basketball with her.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we're going to go that route now.
Yeah.
this go around.
So mama's going to stay busy no matter
Yes,
what with
yes.
with the children there. Very good. Now, my question is, Lori, are you an athlete? Were you an athlete in high school?
Well, no.
No?
I played softball when I was younger, but then when
Yeah.
I got to junior high, I just kind of wasn't interested anymore. But we didn't have the things like they have now for our children.
Right.
There really wasn't that much tournament ball. You can go anywhere and find a tournament softball team now. it's just huge.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't really have all that. And so I kind of fizzled out of that.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. That's all right. You're very active in the community. You served on the board of directors for both the Central and the Livingston Parish Chambers at one point or another. You're a chamber ambassador. You're a graduate of Leadership Livingston. What class were you?
2000, when was that? 17.
17. Okay. And what was y'all's project?
We actually paired up with the Litter Initiative.
Excellent.
So we were able to do that. And that was a lot of fun. And then we were supposed to continue that on. And then when COVID happened, our Litter Day last year got canceled. So I'm hoping John Blunt was really the head of this whole project. So I'm hoping that now that COVID's restrictions are a little bit lighter, we'll be able to do it in the fall, and you should come. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think picking up trash on the side of the road could be fun, but it really was.
Oh, I'm thinking if I'm picking up trash next to you on the road, we can make it fun.
we had a good time.
No doubt about it. So very good. And let me ask your opinion. How important do you feel giving back to your community is?
I think it's very important to give back to your community because that is what keeps things going. That's from generation after generation. Yeah. So if we don't do our part today, who's going to handle our children tomorrow?
Yes.
And we need to show that leadership to our children, the importance of giving back.
Very true. And I agree 100%. And I think the example is what you're setting, like you say, for that younger generation Correct. Coming up, because if you don't have an example there, you don't realize how important that is. So you've been involved in the banking industry since 1995, some 25 years ago, Lori. Right. That is a quarter of a century.
It's a while.
So at one point or another, you've worked pretty much every position in the banking industry. What makes you unique is that you've seen a lot of the technology changes during that particular time. I can still remember when debit cards were kind of the new thing, mm-hmm. right? So it wasn't that long ago. It seems like it was, but the technology has really just sprang forward, ultra fast. So the good thing is it really simplified banking in a lot of ways, both for the consumer and for the banker. But one of the bad things about technology is it opens up, opportunities for fraud, no matter what type of technology it is. Correct. Right? So I think things like online bill pay, online check deposits, even Apple Pay technology, all those things are great. And they've really brought everything into the 21st century, but the fraud becomes a little bit easier because hackers, they love to hack, right? They love to get in there and do their thing. So my first question is, how bad would you say the issue of banking fraud is compared to 25 years ago?
Well, like you just said, because of the technology, it obviously makes it so much easier now for them to hack into a computer system and, get people's information. But just because it makes it easy doesn't mean you can't protect yourself. There's so many things that you can do. Number one, I tell all my clients, monitor your account. Put the app on your phone. Look at it daily.
Yeah.
That's your first line of defense right there is monitoring your own account. You can put Visa fraud alerts on your account. So every time you swipe your debit card, you get a text message or an email. You could put low balance notifications. There's so many things that the client can do to notify them so they can catch it early and then come to us and we can shut down the account or the debit card or online banking, whatever is necessary. Because we certainly want to make sure they're protected.
Yeah.
That's your money, and that's your livelihood.
That's right. And a top priority for the folks at Hancock Whitney Bank. There's no doubt about it. So the Federal Trade Commission actually ranks the top fraud trends, and the number one method of defrauding folks with a heavy concentration on the elderly is imposter scams. This is when a dishonest person lies and tricks you into sending money to them. They might call you on the phone and trick you into sending them money or send an email or text. Imposters might try to get you to pay them by saying, you want a gift card or they need to get wired money to send you certain things. They might say you owe money to the IRS or to a government agency and these are imposters. These are people that obviously they're lying. Now, you've actually witnessed this kind of firsthand over at Hancock Whitney Bank. Go through that story with me.
So what they will do is exactly what you just said. They will call, like, for instance, we have one client, they call and they pretend that they have a medical need, and they play on your sympathy and emotions through that, help fund this. And so the lady kept going into it and really believing that she was helping this person. And we would tell her, this isn't what you're sending the money to. I mean, this money is going overseas. They're asking you to send crazy amounts. And we were able to get our security department involved and get that stopped and retain her money for her, once we figured out what was going on, which ultimately is the most important, that we were able to save her.
Yeah.
Will we ever find out where that went? I mean, you don't know. There's so many different things. And I mean, the police the detectives that are trying to sort this out, I mean, it's mind boggling, because you think you're sending money here, but it's going, overseas, or once it's going overseas, then they're funneling it back. And it's just a big old circus ring, really. And people are getting caught up in it, and they're being victimized, and it's just really sad. And
especially these elderly folks that, they're not as used to the technology or the scams. I mean, they're, and so they're kind of preyed upon in that way. And thank goodness that the folks at Hancock Whitney Bank, they kind of pay attention to that. So I'm sure there's key things that you look for that maybe you would speak to that person and say, we just want to make sure that everything is legit, and that's what you want out of a bank.
Absolutely. So when you come into the financial center, if you're making a transaction, the tellers or the platform, whoever is helping that client, we're going to ask some questions to try to uncover, what are you really doing with this money? We know it's your money, but we want to help you protect your money.
Right.
Then back office, and sometimes that's why I tell clients, monitor your own account as well, because, I mean, there's so many transactions, we may not catch everything, but back office will alert us if they see a red flag on an account, and we'll reach out to the client just to make sure everything is legit and they're not being scammed.
Very good. And, it's an interesting fact. The Federal Trade Commission had over 165,000 folks reports of imposter scams filed last year, and a total loss of over $152 million.
That is so insane.
So, folks out there listening, be wary of that, and kind of watch, who you give your information to, things like that. We're from the IRS, and you owe us a ton of money, and you need to pay it right now. We need your credit card information or debit card information. You can pay it, and we'll leave you alone. It's important to know that the IRS would never reach out to you and do that if it was really the IRS.
Exactly. It's a scare tactic, and that's what they do. Because, I mean, if you think the IRS is coming after you, what's the first thing you do? You panic.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They panic, and even though they think, oh, well, I filed my taxes correctly, or I did everything correctly, but I'll just pay the $1,000, just to make sure. And it's not legit. And it's just, again, it's just sad to see, and makes me angry.
Yeah, me too. It's really an awful thing. And that scam had over 52,000 reports filed with the Federal Trade Commission.
I got a text the other day from the IRS,
Yeah, they're going to follow up via mail. U.S. mail, so and you can call them to confirm.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, if there's ever anything in question, you can go to irs.gov. There's a bunch of information on their website. There's phone numbers that you could call. Make sure you reach out to someone before you give out your information.
Absolutely. Now, Lori, if someone calls and tells you, hey, you want a prize, and all you need to do is confirm your credit card info, what should you do?
Absolutely. Do not give that credit card information.
Yeah, don't say, hold on, let me get that for you. I can't believe I've never won anything. Yeah, don't give them that credit card information. Now, what if someone calls, though, and they say you're behind on your taxes, and if you don't pay over the phone, you'll be arrested?
See, that's another one of those. It's a scare tactic, and people are scared of getting arrested, so they'll think, oh, well, I'll just pay the $1,000, But absolutely do not do it. Again, I would definitely refer them back to the IRS. If it's anything to do with your bank account, call us at Hancock Whitney Bank and we'll help you with it.
Absolutely. Now, say you're reviewing your bank statement and you notice charges on your account you did not make. And I dealt with this personally. So it happens to everybody, but if you have charges on there you did not make, how should they handle that? So
if you see like your debit card has been used and you didn't make that purchase, you definitely want to contact the bank, talk to your banker, and we can dispute that charge for you. At that point, your card has been compromised, so we're going to need to order you a whole new one.
Okay.
But we can close that out, get you a new card, and get you a temporary card to use until that new one comes in. But most importantly, get it shut down so they can't use it going forward.
Yeah, report it as soon as you notice it. And don't think because your debit card is in your possession, it's not being used or can't be used. They actually have, on the internet, there's kind of like what they call the dark web. And this is where people, somehow get a hold to your debit card information, and they will sell it online. And it's funny that these folks that scam you, it won't be charges that are just huge, because they're smart in that it'll be little $10 charges, but it might be 14 of them over like a month period. And they'll keep doing it until you start to dispute it and get that debit card shut down and all those steps you just said. We'll
see that a lot. We'll have people that'll call, hey, I can't use my debit card, and I'll look at their account and you'll see little, 99-cent charge, dollar charge. And I said, well, it looks like it's been compromised, so back office has shut it down to prevent any further fraud, and they didn't even know. And that's, again, when I like to introduce the Visa purchase alerts, so you can get that text message every time that card's being used, which is huge.
It's huge. And that was actually my next question was, does Hancock Whitney offer text message alerts when charges are put on your debit card? And obviously you just covered
Correct.
that.
Yeah, you just have to sign up for it. But yes, it can be done. And again, that's just the best way for you to protect yourself from anything. So the moment you get that charge that you don't know what that is, you can go, and actually now they can just pause their card. And then if it comes out, they check into it and it is valid. Maybe, sometimes we forget, oh yeah, I swiped my card here. Right. Then you can turn your card back on. They have that on their own control over that through that app.
Yes, very good. So they're on the, at Hancock Whitney, y'all are on the front end of doing everything you can possibly do to avoid this issue. And, you can do everything and it still happen. And of course, that has nothing to do with your bank, but your bank will then take steps to shut your account down. You dispute the charges, just like you said, and it's not the end of the world. These folks deal with this more than you would think.
Right. I mean, you see fraud every day, but the most important thing, like you just said, is once we realize something's been compromised, we need to stop it.
Yeah.
Shut it down, shut down the card, give you a whole new checking account number, which if you have all your auto debits and direct deposits coming out, sounds like it could be a pain, but that's where our bankers go in with this client, and we we go through a list. What do you have directly coming out? What do you have directly going in? And we're able to help them do that swap. So we try to make it as easy for that client as possible, because they're already going through enough. They're devastated that they've been, compromised or, a victim of fraud. So we just want to make that easy for them.
Absolutely. And you definitely do. Hey, it's Jim Chapman reminding you that if you have not heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. 1, it's free. 2, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. 3, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's really everything you need to make a podcast in only one place. It makes it easy, folks. So do me a favor, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Now, another popular scam is known as phishing, and that's with a P and not an F. Mm-hmm. That's where you receive an email, say, from Hancock Whitney, and it looks official, right? And it says maybe something like, click here to reset your password. We've had some sort of issue, and we need you to do that. But there are a few ways to check to see if this is legit. First of all, the easiest way to do it is you can take your cursor, go to the top there, and where it says Hancock Whitney Bank, highlight it and look at what the email address is. Mm-hmm. Almost 100% of the time, it's going to be some kind of crazy looking email with a bunch of letters at, yahoo.com or something. Well, that's not from Hancock Whitney. So that'd be the easiest way. The second way is maybe I would assume they could contact you folks at Hancock Whitney, and you could say, whatever it is it says in that email, never click on that and put in your password unless you're directed by your banker specifically.
Absolutely. And you're more than welcome to call, your banker at any time. What I do love that we do is if we notice that, or it's been brought to our attention that we have an email going out, or not there's an email going out that it looks like it's coming from Hancock Whitney, they will alert all of us. So we're able to alert our clients when they call in. You can follow our social media websites. We will post that information.
Great.
Hey, there's something out there. Don't click on it. It's not from us. So the bank does a lot to make sure they're protecting clients as well.
Yeah, y'all are very proactive, and it's always better to be proactive than reactive in any situation. So that's another feather in the cap of Hancock Whitney. And if you do get an email like that, report it to Hancock Whitney.
Definitely. Give us a call. Let us know. Email it to us so we can forward it on to our security department, because we want to get it shut down and stopped.
Absolutely. Now, we discussed a little bit about what you do personally to give back to the community, and you are obviously very active with giving back. Not only in your business, but out of it. I mean, we discussed how Hancock Whitney really pays attention for these scams and things like that unfortunate people get tied up in, and those are all great things. But there's another subject I wanted to talk about, and that's in regard to lines of credit. So, first, does Hancock Whitney offer lines of credit, and if so, what are the benefits?
So, yes, we offer different lines of credit. We have just the regular personal line of credit. We have a business operating line of credit. We have our home equity lines of credit that you can use for business or personal. They're so beneficial.
Yeah.
Let's go back to COVID.
Yeah.
Your business gets shut down. Before PPP came into effect, people were having to use these lines of credit to stay afloat until they were able to get that PPP loan.
Yeah.
Let's go back to hurricanes. How many hurricanes did we see last year?
Oh, yeah.
Until you are able to get that money from your insurance company, you're able to start funding your own repairs and get your home back livable. So there's so many benefits to having a line of credit. You can use them for anything that you want, for sure.
Yeah.
But I love to have them there for those emergencies, because you just never know. And this is a great way to use it. Go ahead and start your repairs or keep your business afloat until you could pay it back with the other funds.
No doubt about it. And, things happen in life, and sometimes it's major disasters like a hurricane or a pandemic like COVID, but sometimes it might just be you. It might not be an entire community. It might be your house, your pipes busted in your house, or pick a disaster. But those are when those lines of credit can really be the difference between you having to delay things and not delay things.
Correct, because you can fund that immediately. You can have it tied to your checking account. You can call the bank, and we will get those funds to you in your account where you can use them right then and there to go buy your materials or whatever the case is. Or what if it's a last minute, you just want to go on a vacation?
Right.
Yeah,
I get a lot of those.
It can be fun stuff.
No doubt about it. Yeah. So you don't have to use it for a disaster, but it's there if you need it anyway. Now, Hancock Whitney, speaking of disasters, Hancock Whitney, one thing that I'm impressed with, and of course, this is my personal and my business bank personally, but your community involvement as a bank, as a corporation is very good, especially when it comes to disasters. It almost seems like every major disaster, the ice storm, the hurricanes, COVID in some ways, Hancock Whitney does a great job on Facebook of posting that they're feeding people at on the coast that may have had some hurricane damage, those sorts of things. So that's something I'm sure as an employee you're very proud of. It's important for me to give back, for you to give back, but also Hancock Whitney as a corporation gives back, and that's a great thing, and worth mentioning that you really do. You almost go into the face of these disasters and how can I help, right?
Correct. We have our set of core values at Hancock Whitney Bank, and that is one of them. And community involvement is a huge core value that our company has. Yeah. And during the hurricane in Lake Charles, our CEO was down there sweating in a T-shirt, serving hamburgers. It just doesn't get much better than that to see that type of leadership come down and serve the community.
Absolutely.
And that was real big. And I love when we share those posts, and I always try to share them because, I have a big social media outlet as well, and I want everyone to know just what the company does outside of just banking. Absolutely.
I think it's important. And it's, when your bank's there and everybody can be there for you in the good times, but when your bank's there in the hard times, that speaks volumes for your core values that you have there. So, perfect. And I definitely wanted to mention that. Now on the questionnaire, I also asked you to fill out a why statement. Especially in your case, having worked for the same bank for over 25 years or a quarter century, I was really interested in particular to discover your why. Now, you stated, I'm able to help families with their finances. My family is my why. So this is why I love helping other families and business owners through the banking industry. So essentially what that says to me is you can relate, right? One thing, and I deal with Lori on all my business things and my personal pretty much when it comes to banking, but Lori, something that's special about her is she always kind of puts herself in your place. And so it helps her to be someone that's very genuine when she's dealing with you, whether it's, I got a bunch of charges on my account from a pool place and I don't have a pool. Remember that call? You relate it because you have a family and so you know what it's like, right? No matter what the situation is.
Yeah. So, my family is very, very important to me, and I know we have to have money to feed our family and to live in our home and for my kids to, do what they do. So I know other families are the same way. Yeah. And if there's a chance that I can look at, some of the debt that they have and help them restructure that debt and help them put that money back in their pocket each month, then that's a win for that family. And it's fun to do that. It's fun to be able to help people with that.
Absolutely. And it's very needed. And, I've said it several times to you, but your knowledge in the banking industry and your time that you have in the banking industry, that's hard to beat. That's something that your banking is probably, one of your most important aspects of your life. And you want to make sure that you're dealing with people with experience. No one more experienced than Lori that I can think of from a local level, especially. So good job for that. I also had another key quote that I wanted to mention, in your questionnaire. I found pretty awesome. And I asked what you look for in a leader. And you stated a leader needs to lead by example. A team is made up of people with different strengths and weaknesses. A leader can differentiate and combine everyone's strength and be successful. There is no I in team. Pretty good.
Correct.
Pretty true.
Yes.
I loved it. I loved it.
glad.
I can't even add to it, Lori. And I love to add to people's quotes. I cannot add to that one.
You're only as strong as the team behind you.
Right.
You know, and again, I think I've been blessed to have been brought up through great leadership with this company. And so I believe that, and I believe in the team that works with me. They don't work for me, they work with me.
Yes.
You know, I can't do anything without them. They're running things right now.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I'm doing this podcast, which is so much fun, by the way. But I can leave and do these things and know that things are taken care of.
Yeah.
Because it is a strong team, and I'm proud of that.
Absolutely. Shout out to your team over at
Absolutely.
Hancock Whitney Bank. Now, I do fun facts on this show, and I wanted to do some on you specifically, let people get to know you a little better. And I found this first one interesting. So you and a friend went to a rodeo when you were 17, and you rode an actual bull.
Yes.
Wow. How was that?
Scary. So that's shout out to my friend Jamie, which today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Jamie. We went up to, her dad lived in Bastrop, and we go up to North Louisiana, and we go to our rodeo. And Jamie says, "You want to ride the bull?" And I was like, okay. I don't know what we were thinking.
Yeah.
But I did not stay on for 8 seconds, maybe an eighth of a second. And
Popped you right off of there.
I knew the bull went one way and I went the other, and I never did it again. I will never do it again.
But you did it. That's
I did
pretty
it.
awesome. That's like a bucket list thing for me. So good job. Hey, even an eighth of a second is pretty impressive. Most people don't get on them. So were you scared?
I was nervous, for sure.
It was a big bull you're sitting on there, Lori. So had you not become everyone's favorite banker, you would have been a teacher. Mm-hmm. Really? Any particular subject?
No, because I think I wanted to do elementary
Yeah.
because I love little kids.
Yeah.
And for a while, I thought I wanted to be like a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, I pursued a different career path,
Sure.
but there was a lot of things that enticed me about being a teacher. Number one, they give so much to the community.
Yes, they
do.
do.
They give to our children.
Right.
I wanted, at the time, I thought, I want to, be a teacher and have the summers off with my family, And of course, I definitely chose a different career path, and I've been very blessed. So I'm grateful. But that was my mindset years ago, why I wanted to be a teacher.
Awesome, man.
So, well, what we actually do is we partner up with Junior Achievement. And so we go into the classroom and teach financial literacy.
Oh,
and that's a lot of fun.
fantastic.
I sign up for that just about every time I can because it lets me get in there and teach the kids. It's
awesome.
fun.
We also asked what your favorite movie was, and you kind of have a tie between Christmas Vacation and Forrest Gump. And I'm surprised Coming to America is not on that list.
Well, there was so many. I was like, do I give him 10? I
it's
love Coming
hard,
to
isn't it?
America as well.
Yeah.
There's so many that I love, but that was a hard question, Jim. You stumped me on that one. And then we talked
it's
about
hard
it
to
when I
pick a
texted
favorite
you
movie.
back, and
Yeah.
you were like, Shawshank Redemption. I'm like, that's a great one, too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There's so many that I watch.
Forrest
every
Gump
time.
is great, too. One of the few movies that I actually saw in the movie theater 3 times.
Oh, wow.
That's how much I like that
Yeah,
movie.
it's a good one.
Yeah, great soundtrack to it. Christmas Vacation, of course, a classic. And everybody can quote just about every line from that movie. So you got some good taste there. I concur with those. So your favorite quote is, and listen up for this because I really like this. You said, your talent is God's gift to you. What you do with that talent is your gift to God.
So I came across that quote years ago, and I actually shared it with my daughter because, she's obviously pretty talented with her athleticism. But that talent doesn't have to just be athleticism. It's anything. It's what you're doing right now. Your podcast talent.
Yeah.
You have that, and you're giving back to your community. And I believe you're honoring God by doing that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that can go for any situation, any career, any aspect of life, I feel like that quote can fit.
I agree 100%. And I think everyone, no matter who you are, everybody has a talent that was bestowed by God. And you know, it's kind of your responsibility to hone that talent and to use that talent. God gives it to you, but you've got to use it, you know? So very good. Love that quote. Now, March was Women's History Month, and in honor of that, Local Leaders, the podcast, selected 5 of the top business leaders that are female in this community to recognize for their community leadership, both inside and outside of their business. So it's our honor, me and Casey's, and she's going to come in from off screen to present you with this plaque recognizing you as a 2021 Local Leaders Leading Lady. Thank you for all you do in Livingston Parish community, and we appreciate you. You're a very good friend, and I was honored to have you on to present you with that.
I just can't even say how much I appreciate this and how much that means to me. I definitely thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've always been real supportive of me in my career, and you've been very vocal to help me, you know, get out in our community and learn more about different things. And I appreciate this from you so much. Thank you.
You earned it. I just gave it to you, and you're about everything a community would want, and so you totally deserve that. Lori, as we discussed, you're at the Florida Avenue location, which everyone thinks is Florida Boulevard, right?
I didn't even know it wasn't Florida Boulevard until I started working there.
Yeah.
It was Florida Boulevard my whole life.
So if you're thinking Florida Boulevard, same location, but she's on Florida, located in Denham Springs. But we also want to let's shout out Hancock Whitney's website. Is it HancockWhitney.com?
Correct.
Okay, so you can go there. She discussed earlier about, checking for updates on any type of scams, for example. But you can go there to learn more about checking accounts, savings accounts, all those sorts of things, the awesome things that Hancock Whitney does. If it's in banking, they do it.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. I'm glad you said that, because we're not just checking and savings. Like you said, we're a relationship bank.
Yeah.
We want to help you from your mortgage, your investments. We have treasury services, business banking, so many different things. So we definitely want to be that relationship bank for you.
Absolutely. And Casey, you're off camera, but I want you to hand me that sign right behind you, if you could. So, I do need to announce that Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, so I'm going to kind of hold this where the camera can see it for a second. The podcast hosted by Woody Overton, of course, another Livingston Parish podcast, will be holding the second annual Crew Bash at Texas Club on June 19th, and we're giving away some tickets, Lori Johnson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this thing's almost sold out, but I have secured several sets of tickets. So look for an announcement upcoming on how you can win these tickets, courtesy of Local Leaders, the podcast. Should be a great time. Chase Tyler Band's going to also be playing. It's going to be off the hook, as they say, as the kids say. Or maybe it's the adults that say that, and we think we sound young. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Woody's going to do a live podcast like he does with his true crime, and then there'll be some music from Chase Tyler Band. These are both local LP folks, so we definitely want to check that out. I want to thank Casey McMurray for all she does as her role as executive producer of Local Leaders podcast. She is invaluable to our success, and I want to thank everyone out there for viewing and listening to Local Leaders. Please continue to like, comment, share, subscribe to Local Leaders as we strive to put a spotlight on everyone, Lori, that contributes to our community in all kinds of different ways. I do want to thank our sponsors, including Premier Credit Corporation, Trisha Johnston Realtor, Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance, Sporting Center, Black Sheep Creative, SR Enterprise Painting, Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom, Guyot's Plumbing, Tiffany Seacard of Home Key Mortgage, Buddy's Barbecue, Denham Springs, and iTrade Exchange. We could not do any of this without all of you. Until next time, I'm Jim Chapman reminding you love your community, support local business, and just like Lori Johnson, keep leading. Thank you.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.